Living in a rented home should be a safe and fair experience for everyone. Sometimes, though, letting agents don't always do the right thing. They might ignore your calls about urgent repairs, or they might try to charge you unfair fees. It can be really frustrating when this happens. You might feel like there's nothing you can do, but that's not true. Reporting your letting agent is a really important step. It helps to hold them accountable for their actions. It shows them that tenants know their rights and expect to be treated properly. Don't ever feel like your problem is too small to report, because every voice counts. There are many common problems that tenants face with letting agents. Maybe your deposit wasn't protected in a government-backed scheme, which is a legal requirement. Perhaps the agent keeps entering your home without giving you proper notice, invading your privacy. Or maybe they are failing to carry out essential repairs, leaving you with a leaking roof or no hot water for weeks on end. These are not just small annoyances, they can seriously affect your quality of life and your health. Unfair fees, misleading information about the property, or even discrimination are also serious issues that need to be addressed. You pay rent, and you deserve a decent service in return. Knowing your rights as a tenant is incredibly powerful. The law in the UK gives tenants many protections. For example, you have the right to live in a property that's safe and in a good state of repair. You have the right to have your deposit protected. You also have the right to quiet enjoyment of your home, meaning the agent can't just turn up whenever they like. Understanding these basic rights is the first step to challenging bad practices. Many resources online, like Shelter or the government's own website, can tell you more about your specific rights. Take some time to read up. It's worth it. When you report a bad letting agent, you're not just helping yourself, you are also helping other tenants. Think about it. If an agent gets away with treating one tenant badly, they're likely to do it again to someone else. By making a formal complaint, you create a record of their poor behavior. This can lead to investigations and even sanctions if they are found to be breaking the rules. This helps to improve standards across the entire lettings industry. So, by standing up for yourself, you are playing a part in making renting fairer and safer for everyone in the UK. Your action can prevent others from facing the same problems. When you have a problem with your letting agent, good records are your best friend. Seriously, they are like your secret weapon in any dispute. It's easy to forget details over time, especially when you're stressed. But written records don't forget. If you end up needing to make a formal complaint, or even go to a redress scheme, having a clear paper trail will make your case much stronger. It shows you've been reasonable and have tried to sort things out. So from the very start of any issue, get into the habit of writing things down. It might seem like a bit of effort, but it can save you a lot of trouble later on. So what exactly should you be keeping a record of? The simple answer is everything. Keep copies of all emails you send and receive. If you have phone calls, make a note of the date, time, who you spoke to, and what was said. It's even better if you can follow up important phone calls with an email confirming what was discussed. Keep all letters, both those you send and those you receive. Take photos or videos of any problems like disrepair or damage. Make sure these are dated. Also, keep copies of your tenancy agreement, any inventory reports, and receipts for any rent or fees paid. Keeping all these records organized is also very important. You don't want to be searching through a huge pile of papers when you need to find something quickly. A simple folder or binder can work well. You can divide it into sections for different types of documents like emails, letters, repair issues, and payments. If most of your communication is digital, create a dedicated folder on your computer or cloud storage. Save emails as PDFs and name files clearly with dates. This way, if you need to present your evidence, it will be clear, organized, and easy for others to understand. Let me give you an example of how good records can help. Imagine a tenant. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah had a problem with a constantly leaking tap in her bathroom. She called the agent multiple times, but nothing was done. Luckily, Sarah kept a log of all her calls. She also sent follow-up emails confirming the calls and took photos of the worsening leak and the damage it was causing. When she finally made a formal complaint, her detailed records clearly showed how long the problem had been going on and the agent's failure to act. This made her complaint much stronger and helped her get the repair done. Before you think about going to higher authorities, the first official step is usually to complain directly to the letting agent themselves. This might sound a bit odd if you're already unhappy with them, but it's a necessary part of the process. Most redress schemes, which we'll talk about later, will want to see that you've given the agent a fair chance to put things right first. It also shows that you are trying to resolve the issue in a reasonable way. Sometimes a formal complaint can actually make the agent sit up and take notice, especially if your previous informal requests have been ignored. When you make your complaint, it's best to do it in writing. This means sending a letter or an email. A written complaint creates a record that you've officially raised the issue. In your complaint, be clear and polite, even if you're feeling very angry or frustrated. State the facts of what has happened or what hasn't happened. Explain how this has affected you. For example, if they haven't done a repair, explain the impact it's having on your daily life or your health. Avoid making personal attacks or using abusive language, as this won't help your case at all. Make sure your complaint letter or email includes some key information. Start with your name, address, and contact details. Clearly state that you are making a formal complaint. Give a chronological account of the problem, including dates of when issues occurred or when you contacted them previously. Refer to any evidence you have, like photos or previous emails. You can even attach copies. Be very clear about what you want the agent to do to resolve the problem. Do you want a repair carried out? An apology? Compensation? Being specific helps them understand what you expect as a resolution. Once you've sent your complaint, give the letting agent a reasonable amount of time to respond. Their own complaints procedure, which they should have, might state a time frame, often around 8 weeks for a final response. If they don't have a stated time frame, allow them perhaps 14 to 28 days for an initial acknowledgement and a more detailed reply. Keep a copy of the complaint you sent and proof of postage if you sent it by mail or the sent email. Hopefully they will take your complaint seriously and work with you to find a solution. But if they don't, or if you're not happy with their response, then you can move to the next step. If you've complained directly to your letting agent and they haven't resolved your issue, or you're unhappy with their final response, don't lose hope. Your next step is to take your complaint to an independent redress scheme. In the UK, all letting agents who manage properties or deal with tenants are legally required to be a member of one of two government-approved redress schemes. These are the Property Ombudsman, TPO, or the Property Redress Scheme, PRS. The agent must tell you which scheme they belong to. It's often shown on their website or paperwork. This is a crucial avenue for tenants seeking justice. These redress schemes are there to resolve disputes between tenants and letting agents. They offer a free, impartial, and independent service. They will look at the evidence from both you and the agent and decide if the agent has acted unfairly or broken any rules or codes of practice. If they find in your favor, they can tell the agent to take certain actions. This might include apologizing, carrying out repairs, or even paying you compensation for financial loss or significant distress and inconvenience you have suffered. This is a powerful tool for holding agents accountable for their service standards. To file a complaint with a redress scheme, you'll usually need to fill out a complaint form, which you can find on their website. You will also need to provide all the evidence you've gathered. This is where your excellent record keeping really pays off. Include copies of your tenancy agreement, your formal complaint to the agent, their response, if any, and all your supporting documents like emails, photos, and letters. The scheme will then review your case. Be patient, as it can take some time for them to investigate thoroughly. They will keep you informed of the progress. Finally, it's so important to be persistent and to always remember your rights as a tenant. The process of complaining can sometimes feel long and tiring, but don't give up. Knowing that you have rights and that there are organizations there to help you can be very empowering. By pursuing your complaint, you are not only seeking a resolution for your own situation, but also contributing to better standards in the rental sector. Keep all your documents safe, stay polite and factual in your communications, and trust in the process. Your efforts can make a real difference for yourself and for future tenants who might otherwise face similar difficulties.